back to the F22 Wellbeing series of practices that I'm leading this week here on Instagram. My name is Helen and I'm going to be taking you through a practice today that is designed to nourish and restore your internal rhythms, your energy, and that kind of, like pressing the pause in your day. So what I'm going to do, just whilst people are arriving, is I'll say a quick hello. If anybody wants to drop anything into the chat, let me know how you're doing. Hi Stella, great to see you, hope you're okay. And I'll just kind of let you know a little bit about what we're going to be doing during the practice today. So there'll be a little bit of movement to begin because it's quite useful to, I guess, before we come down to rest, it's quite useful to move the body a little bit, and perhaps there might be some restlessness, potential agitation or stiffness in the body that's kind of left over from your day or your week so far. So we'll move a little bit to begin with, and then we'll come down and take around about 15 minutes or so in a relaxation. Now, in that relaxation position, you have options, you have lots of choices. So I've got a yoga mat on the ground behind me, but I don't expect you to have a yoga mat. You might have a rug or a large towel or something that you could place on the floor, and some cushions. I think it would be really useful if you're going to lie on your back or lie on your side for relaxation, that you have comfort underneath your body and then also some warmth over the top of your body. So a blanket, a cushion, anything that's going to enable you to be comfortable, because when you're lying down for a period of time, that quality of kind of restlessness, that feeling of wanting to move again, always kind of creeps in. And that's okay. If you actually want to move into another position, then that's okay as well. Yeah, so we don't have to just find ourselves in one position and then be absolutely still. Another position that's quite useful for relaxing is kind of just sat up against a wall. We don't always have to be lying on the ground. Some of us may prefer to rest against a wall in a position like this. You could also sit into a chair and just find yourself in a relaxed position. You might be lying on the sofa. There's no rules around where you choose to be in this practice. So let me just give you a little bit of heads up as to why I wanted to do a relaxation practice. If you've been checking in with what I've been doing this week, so Liz McBurney asked me to run a series of sessions around well-being. The first session looked at how we can take care of our neck and shoulders, because as photographers, as creatives, if you're tuning in, some of you may not be, these practices are for everyone. But tensions generally rise in our day-to-day and build around the neck and shoulders. So I designed a practice that was specifically for that was quite movement-based. Yesterday's practice looked at ways in which we can really begin to find support in the breath, and how the breath can fuel our movement, and it transforms the practice to a level of awareness that perhaps we're not familiar with when we're just moving the body freely through space. And then I thought, combine those two practices. You've got two movement-based practices. Let's do a relaxation practice, because I feel that generally the majority of people that I'm working with are holding on to a lot of tension. And you might notice that now, even if you just sat here listening to me. Just take a moment to notice how you feel in your body. Notice if there's tension in your jaw. Notice where you might be holding on. And tensions build, and they don't just build in the day, they build throughout our lives. And sometimes we can be holding on and we don't even know we're holding on. And if we go and do, let's say, a photographic job, and we've already got a lot of tension in the body, and then we build that tension even further, then the body's just not having a chance to really rest and let go of that tension. So I think it's really useful for us to learn how to let go of tension and constriction in the body. And we're going to do that through a series of kind of contracting and relaxing exercises. And then I will guide you through a kind of visualization of relaxation with your breath. I hope that sounds okay for you. It's like a power nap. The effort here is to not fall asleep, because as soon as you come to rest, suddenly your mind might completely switch off, your body might completely switch off, and then you'll be asleep, and then you might wake up in an hour's time and be like, oh. So the effort is to remain with a sense of awareness in some way. Okay, so yeah, let's get started. We're just going to start standing. We'll do a couple of minutes of kind of movement-based stuff. So what I'd like you to do to begin with is almost bounce a little on the spot. So kind of little free movement. I'm shaking my wrists. I'm letting that shake move into my elbows, into my shoulders, and just so I can get a feel for what it is that is in my body. Okay. I'm going to take one arm up towards the sky and then I'm going to release it down. And I'm doing that with a bit of a shake. I kind of want to feel maybe a sense of fluidity, maybe a bit of freedom in my body. I'm going to take the other arm up and then I'm going to release it down. And you could do this with your arms wiggling, or you could do it and take one arm up and then release it down. Take the other arm up and release it down. I'm also bringing my legs into the equation as well. So as I take one arm up, I'm going to lengthen through the legs. As I release the arm down, I'm going to bend the knees. So we all know, let's try both arms, that exercise brings us energy, kind of lifts our mood. And it just means that we're maybe taking a little bit more care of ourselves as well. So let's just come into a bit of swinging action. Take the arms away and let yourself find some space across your chest. Maybe alongside your ribs, your rib cage. And again, I'm just inviting this softness into my knees as I sink down, connecting to the earth, and then rising, connecting towards the sky. And I really would like you to build sensation in your body, so that when we come to rest, we can feel that sensation disperse, we can feel that energy disperse, and know what it is to relax and let go into that space. So just find a place of stillness for a few moments and take a little bit of time to notice how you feel. So how does it feel around your chest? How does it feel around your tummy, your hips, your fingertips? Notice what your body's information is providing you with. And then start to slide your hands down towards your knees, like you're coming into a forward fold, little hinge at the hips. Okay, in this instance, what I'd like you to do is think about pressing through the back. So you round and stretch through the back of the body, and then release that and extend and lengthen the spine and lift the chest, let your shoulders be away from your ears. So drawing the belly in, breathe out, and then inhale and release that and extend the chest forward, your tailbone. Think of that length that you're bringing into your body. And we're just starting to encourage a little bit of that body and breath coordination. Stretching through, find space across your spine. Inhale, lengthen through the front of the body, and once more. Okay, just come up to stand for a moment. Take a deep breath in, rise the shoulders, rise them up, feel that tension in your shoulders, and then exhale and release them down. Okay, let's come on to the back of the body. So before we come to rest completely, we'll just do a little bit of movement into the legs without that pull of gravity going through the feet. So now we're just reversing gravity, okay, down through towards the pelvis. Let your spine, your shoulders find the ground, and just slowly encourage either one leg or both legs over your tummy. And then take a deep breath in here, and as you exhale, press through the heels, either one leg or both legs together up towards the sky. Okay, take a breath in, exhale and release, and bend the knees back down again. So breath in on the ground, exhale, press through the heels and lengthen. Breath in when your legs are extended, and then exhale and bend the knees. So we'll do that once more. And then on the exhale, when you come up, either one leg again or both legs together, take your arms up towards the sky as well, and then we're going to have a little jiggle here. So jiggling your feet, your calves, your knees, into your hips, your thighs, and then your arms, let that come into your back. Now if you're doing this with one leg at a time, then just make sure that you get to do this practice on the other side as well. So it could be at this point that you change legs and you just take that practice again, stretching through, and then have a little jiggle on that side as well. So just take your time, jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Okay, and then come down towards the ground. Sigh the breath out and just let your feet find the ground by your bottom. A little zigzag with your knees from one side to the other, stretch across your hips. And when we complete this part of the practice, this is when I'm going to encourage you to find your props, to find your blankets, your cushions, and just think about the position you want to be in for your relaxation. Okay. And then pausing and press into your feet just a few times, like you're tapping your feet on the ground. Just press in and just release that a few times. It's almost like you rock between the ball of your foot and the heel of your foot, and it just extends like a little forwards and backwards motion along your body through to the crown of your head. Okay. Deep breath in, sigh the breath. So find a cushion if you haven't done so already, placing that cushion underneath your head. So you can either rest onto your back, have your legs extended along the ground. You could place another cushion underneath your knees, especially if your back doesn't feel very happy when your legs are fully extended. So they're the two positions that I'd recommend for being on your back. On the side of your body then, still with a cushion under your head, coming onto your side, maybe extend one arm along the floor. If you have that cushion, you can place it between the thighs. And then if either of those positions you feel aren't going to be appropriate for you today, then bring yourself upright and come and rest against a wall. So take your time to find those positions for you. And the idea is that we just want to move a little more closely towards that supportive place beneath us, the earth, okay? And you know, think of the amazing qualities that the earth provides us with. So the pull of gravity acts like a deep hug. You know, we're all connected on the earth through gravity, okay? And the earth is welcoming us into its core, okay? So just acknowledge that for a few moments. Maybe even give yourself a little hug here. You could place one hand over one shoulder, cross the other hand over, and just invite your shoulders to rock a little from one side to the other. So encouraging a sense of kindness and warmth in your practice. Let your arms either rest onto your body or out beside you. If you're on the ground, if you're resting up against the wall, just let your arms rest by your sides or onto your laps. And then also thinking then along the earth's lines of how it nourishes, provides the nutrients for the food that we eat, the ground for the roots of the trees to grow, and for those trees, you know, what they are able to bring us in terms of oxygenation. So acknowledge that place beneath you and notice how your body just slowly begins to find the support. Perhaps you might notice already a few things starting to let go into the earth, around the shoulder blades, around your pelvis and your hips. If your legs are supported, the back of your knees, just kind of notice the points of your body that are starting to find connection to the ground. The backs of your arms, the back of your skull, and then down towards your feet. How do you feel now that you are resting on the ground? And you might have your eyes open or closed. There is likely to be distant sounds that you're aware of, or even closer up sounds in your space. You might acknowledge the colour and light in the space that you are resting into, and also texture or fragrance. Just notice what's happening on a sensory level. What are you aware of in this space? And then just for a few moments, if your legs are bent, then just let them extend along the ground a little bit. And start to take your arms overhead. So if you're lying on your back, you can stretch out. If you're on your side, just take one arm overhead and then stretch the top leg along the ground. And if you're resting against a wall, you could take your arms up along the wall behind you. And then we're going to think about extending one foot and one arm away from one another. So I'm going to go with my right hand and my left leg, and I'm starting to extend the right arm away like it's reaching up into the space behind me as I extend through my left toes and point my toes away, and I can feel my leg extending from my hip across the front of the body. And then I'm going to take a deep breath in, and on the exhale I'm going to relax and let that return to its starting point, so a more softer neutral position. And then on the next breath in, I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So the left hand extends away, the right foot extends away, and I'm stretching almost diagonally across my body, and then exhale and relax. Okay, and again, opposite side. So I'm just going to do that once more on each side. I'm allowing my head to roll. And with that, on the exhale, relaxing, and then on the inhale, just coming through the opposite side. So just exploring that length in my body. And then I'm going to return, lower my arms and come back to my resting position. So in order for us to notice the sensation of letting go and relaxing, it can be useful for us to experience what it is to be tense. So let's just focus in on the left leg. And as you breathe in, just start to draw your toes in like you're curling your foot in on itself. And then on the exhale, slowly relax that. So just try that another round or two with your breath. Inhale, drawing the toes in, drawing the foot in on itself, exhaling and relaxing. And when you've done that a couple of times, move it into the leg, the whole leg itself. So you can push the heel away, draw the toes in, and then lift the kneecap. And on a breath in, see if you can just lift that leg maybe a couple of centimeters off the ground. So the whole leg is active. Exhale and relax that down to the earth. Pause. And then do the same thing again. So the toes draw in, the foot, push the heel away, lift the kneecap, and then raise, breathing in, and then exhale, soften the leg, let it find the ground, almost like it's melting towards the earth. And we'll do the same thing on the opposite side. So start with the left toes, just the toes to begin with, inhaling and draw them in, exhaling and relax them out. Okay, so breathe in to squeeze, exhale to let go. And then when you're ready to introduce that to the whole leg, inhale, come into the toes, into the foot, push the heel away, lift the kneecap, and then lift the leg off the ground a little, exhale and relax. If you're finding the leg doesn't really want to lift off the ground a little, just have that sense of activation that your leg is active, you're lifting the kneecap. And just try that again. So it could be that there's a firmness, you notice the tension coming into the leg or the contraction, and then let that go as you breathe out. Okay, so we're going to take that a little bit further now into the pelvis, into the buttocks and the lower abdomen. So as you breathe in, think about drawing in the buttocks on themselves. So you're clenching the bottom, maybe pressing down through the low back, tummy comes in, navel towards the spine, and then exhale and let that go. Invite a softness around your hips and your pelvis, and we'll just try that again. So inhale, draw in like you're hugging everything in towards your pelvis, towards your tailbone, and then exhale and let that go. Coming a little bit further now into the chest,
and the space around the backs of your shoulders. Imagine you're squeezing everything in. So you might find the shoulder blades start to come in towards themselves. The chest puffs up a little. You take a deep breath in and then exhale and let that soften. And repeating that again in your own time. So drawing in the shoulders, squeezing that in, and then exhale and soften. And then into your right arm, your right hand draws in, breathe in, lift the arm off the ground, almost like you're pushing it away from your body, clenching the arm in, and then exhale and relax that down. And we'll just do that again on that side. So breath in. Invite yourself to soften as you breathe out. And then the same on the left hand side. So breathing in, extend, lengthen, contract, feel the tension in your arm, and then exhale and let that go. And again, breath in. Exhale and relax that down. Okay, finally then come into your face. Nobody's watching, okay? I can't see what your facial expression is going to be. So inhale and squeeze everything together, like your lips, your brow, your jaw, everything comes in towards this central point in your face. You might even draw your chin in a little so the head feels a little tense. And then relax that as you breathe out. Softening space. And again, once more. Okay, so just take a few moments now to notice how you feel in response to that contract and relax exercise. Now I'm going to come up to sit and continue this guided relaxation, but I encourage you to stay in this comfortable, relaxed position that you found yourselves in. And notice how every time you allow yourself to let go, that it's happening on the exhalation. Can you be aware of the way in which the muscles, the soft tissue release away from the joints, from the bones towards the earth, and they come to this cushioning place beneath you? Let that happen on an exhale. The exhalation is the part of the breath cycle that stimulates the relaxation, the parasympathetic response. So it has a naturally calming influence on our nervous system. As you breathe in, I'm going to invite you to welcome a sense of lightness, a sense of vitality or radiance, a sense of possibility. As you breathe out, find ease, soften, and let go. So follow your breathing in this way. Inhale, invite light, invite radiance, vibrancy. Exhale, soften, and let go. We're going to stay here for a few more moments. You might find that your mind just starts to take you elsewhere, and that's fine. Acknowledge where it's trying to take you, and then come back into this quality of breathing in to your lightness, your radiance, your vibrancy. Breathe out and let go and soften and release. Releasing tension on a muscular level, but also releasing tension on an emotional and mental level. Inhale, welcome that sense of lightness. Exhale and soften. And whilst you continue with that flow of consciousness, I'm going to work with a little bell. So if you start to hear sounds, it's the sound of a chime. And just start to bring that into your awareness as we start to bring ourselves back into our day. Okay. So, take your time. Sigh the breath out a few times. Inhale fully. A long sigh as you exhale. And then start to move in ways that feel beneficial, that feel like you're coming back into your day with a sense of curiosity or gentleness. Maybe stretch, maybe jiggle, have a little movement. And then in your time, just coming upright into a comfortable seated position of your choice. And let your hands rest onto your lap or over the centre of your chest. Invite some space through your torso, along your spine. And just take a few moments to notice how you feel in your body. Physically, how have things shifted for you? Energetically, what do you become aware of through your breathing, through perhaps movement or sensations that have arisen as a result of your practice on an energetic level? And then also just notice what's happening in your mind. Has there been a conscious shift in some way? And if you have a notebook and pen to hand, feel free to maybe write down some of your personal reflections, or if you'd like to share anything with me in the chat, please do so. And so thank you very much for joining me. I can't believe how quickly a relaxation session goes, actually. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for being here live. If you were able to stick around, if you're just joining and you're wondering what's happening, my name is Helen Roscoe, and I've been on a takeover this week for F22, offering live kind of wellbeing sessions. And today's session has been focused around relaxation. So the session will be uploaded to videos shortly, so this will be available anytime when you have that moment to yourself.